Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. This week, we start the way we start every week, with news from our booming economy. Earlier this week, we announced that Niagara Bottling is investing $130 million for a production facility in Kenton County, which is going to create 60 full-time jobs in the Commonwealth. Niagara has been in business for more than 60 years, producing bottled water, soft drinks, sports drinks, and other beverage products. Construction will begin early next year on the facility, which will include manufacturing and distribution operations. This builds on Kentucky's immense manufacturing presence, with over 6,000 manufacturing facilities and employing 250,000 Kentuckians. This project also represents another major win for our site development efforts. In 2022, I worked with the legislature to approve a $13 million site development and acquisition fund for Kenton County. A portion of that fund was used to recently install power transmission lines in support of this project. The announcement is also yet another reminder of our commitment to attract new jobs, and also a reminder that it takes work. That programs like the KPDI program are so important, because every time we land one of these great companies on one of our sites, we need the next site, and then the next one after that, and the next one after that. The way that we stay competitive is to always do the work. So I want to thank the leadership at Niagara Bottling for putting their faith in us, and we look forward to see their company's success in the Commonwealth. Today, we also have more good economic news. In fact, today we have a major validator of how Kentucky's economy is booming like never before, and that's that Moody's Ratings has upgraded the Commonwealth's credit rating. The rating is a measure of the state's ability to pay debts and the overall health of the Kentucky economy. Moody's said this upgrade was driven by our sustained commitment to healthy reserves and structural balance, including fully funding pensions and paying down our unfunded liabilities. They also said the upgrade reflects growth in key industries that will help solidify Kentucky's economic growth over the next several years. They include large investments in our manufacturing sector, our position in EV manufacturing, and our position as a logistics hub, as well as the growth of our tourism and healthcare sectors. What this really is talking about is the fact that we're breaking every record that's out there. 2021 and 2022 were our best economic development years in the Commonwealth's history. 2023 was our best year for exports ever. Each of the last 2 years has been the best year for tourism in our history. We are booming. It is exciting. And this is another fantastic milestone for Team Kentucky. And it tells the rest of the country and a lot of those companies that are looking at where they're going to locate, where Moody's has confidence that they and we will succeed. This rating increase benefits every Kentucky family, because it means every taxpayer dollar goes further towards projects that are making a difference in our communities. And that's because it helps set the rate when we have to borrow. This is the third major ratings increase for Kentucky in just over a year. I want to talk about those other two. In May of 2023, we secured the first ever state level credit rating upgrade from Fitch Ratings. Fitch Ratings said this upgrade was due to Kentucky's strong financial position, budgetary discipline, record levels in the Budget Reserve Trust Fund, which we call the Rainy Day Fund, and continued commitment to fully funding pensions, including appropriations in excess of the actuarially required amount. I want to make sure Kentuckians know, especially our public employees, including law enforcement, transportation workers, teachers, and social workers, that my administration has now secured the longest stretch of fully funding pensions. And the final rating increase was June of 2023, when we secured a second rating increase of that year from a major agency. That time was S&P Global Ratings. This was the first ever rate improvement from S&P in our state's history. So after yesterday's news from Moody's, Kentucky has definitely hit the trifecta. There are three major rating agencies, and we've now been upgraded in the last couple of years by all three. This is a really good day for Kentucky. It helps Kentucky's taxpayers, and it sends a clear message around the world about our economy, about our stability. It's always exciting to be a Kentuckian, but it's really great when those outside of Kentucky, especially major organizations like these, recognize our hard work and how well things are going. I want to take a moment before we talk about the Madisonville Law Enforcement Training Facility to remind Kentuckians that we lost one of our fine law enforcement officers. Russell County Sheriff's Deputy Joshua Phipps, a former Louisville Metro Police Department officer, was shot while searching for a subject on Monday and succumbed to his wounds. He was just 38 years old. His funeral services will be held on Saturday in Russell Springs, and on Saturday we'll be lowering the state flag that day at all of our state buildings and asking everyone else to join us. Brittany and I ask all Kentuckians to join us in praying for his family, fellow law enforcement officers, and the entire Russell County community. An important part of what we do here in Frankfort is to make sure all of our law enforcement officers have the very best training. And today we have a good update regarding that training. I'd like to invite two guests to join me for an exciting announcement taking place in Madisonville. First, we have Madisonville Mayor Kevin Cotton. Come on up, Mayor. As well as Mike Bossi, a Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Criminal Justice Training Center. Since basic training was established for Kentucky law enforcement in the 1960s, officers from every county in the Commonwealth have traveled to Richmond to receive 20 weeks of vital training. Every year, the Department of Criminal Justice Training graduates about 300 new officers, and for that, we're grateful. But as our economy continues to boom and more people are moving to Kentucky as part of our progress, the demand for more law enforcement officers grow. Last year, law enforcement leaders approached me about the need for another training campus so that we could get more officers trained and so that they could be closer to their community while they were training. I heard them. I agreed with them. And in my proposed budget, I included $146 million to construct a new training facility in Western Kentucky. General Assembly agreed with the basic need, but ended up only appropriating about $50 million. And while that was not the full amount we requested, we're still going to use those dollars to meet the needs of our heroes by working towards this new facility. Mayor Cotton has been instrumental in helping us get set up in the Madisonville Police Department facility. What that means is that we can start providing training sooner instead of waiting the 1 to 2 years it'll take to construct a new facility. Their work, the work of the folks behind me, especially Mayor Cotton, means that this February 24th, new law enforcement recruits will begin their basic academy training, not in Richmond, but in Madisonville. For the first time ever, recruits that live in the western region of our state won't have to drive to Richmond, but will instead have access to a 20-week training academy that is so much closer to home. This means they'll have more time with their families and more time to focus on their critical training. This historic expansion also offers a non-residential academy option, which means you don't have to stay on campus full time. Officers attending training in Madisonville will also help bolster local businesses and attract high-quality personnel to the jobs this new academy will make available. I'm grateful for Madisonville leaders who have fully embraced this opportunity, grateful for Judge Executive Whitfield, the police department, and other local government leaders who are unable to be here with us today. They've all gone above and beyond to take a great idea and then a bit of a challenge in the budget and to make it work. Mayor Cotton, thank you very much for your work. And if you please say a few words. You're welcome.
Governor, we appreciate the opportunity to be here today. It's an honor to stand here before you. This has been the work over the past 3 years. I've got 3 guys with me, Chief Steve Bryant, Major Jason McKnight, and Major Justin Jones. Without the team of people working to fight for this Commonwealth, for the training of law enforcement everywhere, we would not be where we're at today. We would not be where we're at today without the help of the legislators that voted to move this project forward. We had some uphill battles, but this is what we learned. By working together as a united front, both sides were able to come together in a bipartisan effort to be able to bring this project to realization so that we can now make a generational impact on training for law enforcement all across the Commonwealth. I am so honored to be a part of it. I'm thankful. Governor, we were sitting in your office when this started. We were talking with you, and we were talking with Rocky Atkins. And at that moment, we realized that this was something that was going to happen to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for listening to this project, and thank you for supporting it the way that you have and giving us this opportunity in Madisonville to provide this generational opportunity. Thank you.
The Department of Criminal Justice Training is excited about it. Truly a historical moment for law enforcement in Kentucky. We are ready to take on the challenge. I would be remiss if I didn't say how helpful the citizens of Madisonville were in this endeavor, and the chief and the mayor. And I got to say, I couldn't be more proud of Kentucky when we work like this. When an agency or a city sees a challenge, sees something that can benefit all of Kentucky, and steps up the way Madisonville has. Couldn't be more proud of the governor for helping making the decision, and the legislator for their help. We know that the training that we give our officers at the very beginning transitions into and impacts the lives of our citizens all throughout Kentucky. We're excited and we're looking forward to it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim. This opportunity is going to help the rest of the state, as officers will now have more training slots available in Richmond. We are grateful for their leadership, and to Mayor Cotton, especially to the Madisonville Police Department. Thank you for not just what you do every day. Thank you specifically for what you've done for Dawson Springs, for the rest of Hopkins County, like Barnsley, that's gotten hit twice by tornadoes. They've been there. They've been there for everybody in the county when they're needed, and from a guy whose family is from Dawson Springs. Thank you all very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, moving from the west to the east, we have some big news for Eastern Kentucky. From our disaster recovery program, we're announcing more than $7 million to build homes for flood survivors. This program is administered by our Department for Local Government, which has been working alongside a lot of local leaders to make this happen. First, we have some good news for Leslie County. We're investing nearly $3 million to build a new 24-unit apartment building in Hyden. These 24 units will be called the Town View Apartments. Mayor Joseph and Judge Executive Lewis couldn't be here today, but they are eager to celebrate with the community. I hope I'll be joining them soon for a groundbreaking. We have a video from Mayor Joseph about the project.
Good morning. I'm Mayor Carol Joseph of Hyden, Kentucky. I just heard the news that Good morning. I'm Mayor Carol Joseph of Hyden, Kentucky. I just heard the news that we were going to get funding for the Townview Apartments that will be in the city limits. I'm thrilled about that. It's particularly wonderful that it's going to be on historic Mary Breckenridge property, and in a way it will fulfill her legacy of always helping people. It's been a long time dream of mine to have housing here in the city available to people that need it. And thank you so much.
We're joined today by Steve Kersey, who is the architect of this project. Steve, if you'd please join us and tell everybody here a little bit about it. Come on up. That's all. Good to see you.
Nice.
Please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Governor, we've been working with Leslie County for over 10 years, trying to find opportunities to provide affordable, state-of-the-art housing. Some time ago, I was asked to visit Leslie County. Our office is principally in Louisville and in Lexington, and I was introduced to the officials there, Mayor Joseph, County Judge Lewis, and so many others. And there have not been any new apartments built in Leslie County in a long time. And so with these funds, we're able to build those new apartments that will set the standard for so many families. I really appreciate it. And I know that the people of Leslie, thank you so much.
Thank you. We also have some good news from Owsley County. We're investing $5 million to build 6 duplexes in Boonville. That means 12 units for flood survivors in Owsley County. This is phase 2 of this project. In total, there'll be 17 duplexes once the project is complete. We got a big group from Owsley County. We'll take everybody if y'all would like to come up. I think we've got Judge Executive Little, Boonville Mayor Bobrovsky, the team from Partnership Housing, and we even have a big old check for you today. Come on up, everybody. Come on in. Oh, yeah. Hey, Pam, good to see you from Fahi. Yeah. Have you ever held $5 million? Come on. Great. Y'all want to brag on the project?
Go ahead, Cassie.
Casey, you go first.
Partnership.
If
You
you,
want me to
if you will.
stand in
Yeah.
front, of course?
So the microphone picks it up.
Partnership Housing is very thankful for this opportunity to be able to provide more affordable housing in Owsley County. This project is very meaningful to us as a team, and I think maybe the county and the city also. I brought this idea to everyone approximately about 3 years ago, and it was up on the screen, the rendering. It shows kind of the whole development. We received some funding from Kentucky Housing Corporation to start the phase 1. This is our phase 2 project, and it will be complete when we do the phase 3. So it is going to provide 17 total duplexes, 34 rental units to Owsley County. So it's in probably one of the most difficult areas to develop affordable rental units, and we are thankful and delighted.
Anybody else?
Mayor?
We want to thank the governor, but also all the DLG, all these agencies from HUD to FAHI to Mountain Association to CDFIs, Kentucky Highlands. These people, we don't know all the answers to everything. We know we can dream, and they help us with our dreams. That's very, very important so we can make it into a reality for the people, because what they are building at Partnership Housing in the city and the county is not only affordable, but they're highly efficient, where their electric bills are less than $100 a month in a 2-bedroom apartment. And that is huge, because then they can use their money for their families and other things that they need to get by on. And that part right there is just so instrumental in helping these people and moving them out of the floodplains and things like that, so they have a proper place. And first responders, we don't have to risk as much as we have been with the first responders as well in these flooded areas. So, but thank you very much.
Very welcome. Judge?
I'd just like to say thank you, Governor, for having us here today. On behalf of Owsley County, we appreciate everything that the governor's office and everyone has done for Owsley County. This is a great, great opportunity for us to get some more housing in. That's something we're short on. I think with more housing, more people coming in, more jobs will be created. It's just a win-win for all of us, and we really appreciate everything that you've done for us, Governor.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you all. So, thank you all. And to recap, in July, I went east to commemorate the 2-year anniversary of the floods. And on that day, we announced $6 million to help build 20 homes in Jackson in Breathitt County. We expect to officially close on that property in the coming weeks and celebrate a groundbreaking soon after. Today, I'm also pleased to announce that Team Kentucky was awarded nearly $28.5 million for 7 separate grants in the newest round of funding from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law. All the grant money comes from the Safe Streets and Roads, which is overseen by US DOT. 3 of those grants are for construction-ready projects in Danville, Elizabethtown, and Henderson County. Each one is meant to create a safer, more equitable roadway that everyone can enjoy and access with things like revamped pedestrian crossings, adding sidewalks and walkways, better roadway shoulders, roundabouts to replace high crash rate intersections, and other safer road solutions. First up, envisioning a safer Elizabethtown project received $11.1 million in grants that's going to be matched by $2.3 million in state funds. Here with us today is Elizabethtown Mayor Jeff Gregory. Here's our 2.3 of it.
We'll take it. Thank you very much.
Mayor, you want to talk about your projects?
I'd love to. I appreciate the opportunity to get up here and talk about our city a little bit. The governor can tell you that we're experiencing an economic and industrial boom in the city of Elizabethtown, and that's due to the hard work that his office and the State Economic Development Cabinet and a lot of people on the local level have put in for many years. And because of that, we're working really hard to make sure that our infrastructure stays ahead of the game in Elizabethtown. Blue Oval SK 4 miles south of Elizabethtown, which immediately brought us 3 other companies in our industrial park in Elizabethtown, has caused us to look at the way that we're looking at our infrastructure as far as roadways, sewer lines, gas lines, and everything that comes with that. And so this grant money is going to be huge for us because it identifies 2 different corridors that is probably are most at risk statistically with injury accidents and accidents just in general. And we'll be able to put this money to those things for the aforementioned sidewalks and lighting and road diets and roundabouts that we've seen have great success in Elizabethtown. And so we're really excited to keep investing to make people safer and save lives. So thank you very much, Governor.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Good to see you.
You too.
Mayor was very kind, but that Blue Oval project wouldn't have happened without him. Without all the work that he put in, and big projects can sometimes have big challenges. And the mayor has helped us work through each and every one of them. Thank you for your partnership. In Henderson, a more than $3 million grant will make their Drive to Zero project possible. We have a recording sent in from Henderson County Judge Executive Brad Schneider about their award.
Thank you, Governor. I wish I could be there in person, but I'm actually in downtown Paducah today with many of my colleagues from around the state as part of the Kentucky County Judge Executives Association retreat here in beautiful West Kentucky. I would like to take a moment to thank Henderson County Engineer Nick Stallings for working tirelessly for 3 years to secure the $3.3 million in Safe Streets grant funding that we got. And we're going to use that money to do just that, make our rural roads safer here in our community. We're going to do 3 things. We're going to stripe the edges of county roads to more clearly delineate them for drivers. We're going to widen shoulders so that if they do get off the road, they have a better chance of correcting and staying on the road. And if they do manage to get off our roads, we wanted to make sure that we cleared as many trees as possible from close to our roads, because one of the single largest factors in whether a single vehicle accident in the community turned into a fatality was hitting trees. So we're going to do that. We're also going to do an audit of signage throughout the county to make sure we have enough warning signs and similar signs to help people stay safe.
All right. The 7 grants are going to projects in 7 different communities. They include Danville, Boone County, London, Louisville, and Versailles, in addition to the areas we just talked about of Elizabethtown and Henderson. This is great news for our Kentucky communities. Next, I'm going to provide an update on our effort to build out a statewide network of fast charging stations for electric vehicles. Earlier this week, I joined local leaders and transportation officials to cut the ribbon on the first EV charging station in Kentucky to be built through the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program. And it's not just the first one in Kentucky. It is the first one throughout the entire southeastern United States, and it's in Richmond. Kentucky is already the EV battery production capital of the United States of America, so we're making sure the batteries that we're going to make, we can also charge in the Commonwealth. Through $87 million from the federal program and matching private funds from developers, we've approved 38 charging stations that'll be built along 11 interstates and 8 parkways in our Commonwealth. And we have even more great news to share. As of this week, the Commonwealth is now seeking proposals for up to 12 more stations. Interested developers will have until mid-October to respond. And just like our last request for proposals, these private developers will design, build, own, and operate our fast charging stations. In the end, through this program, as many as 50 fast charging stations, that's one about every 50 miles along the alternative fuel corridors, are planned along our interstates and our parkways. While I was at Circle K, I also got a real treat. I got to drive the Ford F-150 Lightning for the first time. It's a great truck. The popularity of this truck is why we're building the largest battery plant on planet Earth. It was pretty exciting. To celebrate the first EV fast charging station in Kentucky, Circle K is offering 2 free weeks of charging through October 1st to EV owners who use the Circle K app at the Richmond location. And finally, for our team, Kentucky All-Stars, I want to recognize the Kentucky State University football team. The Thoroughbreds are going up against the Morehouse College Tigers at Soldier Field on Saturday night as part of the Chicago Football Classic. So Kentucky State University is playing where the Bears play. It's more than a game. It's an opportunity to recognize great HBCUs across the country, like KSU, and to raise money for scholarships for African-American students planning to attend these institutions. Kentucky State University is also where both of my kids will earn an associate's degree because of their connection and partnership with our public school districts here in Franklin County. We are excited about this game. We're going to be rooting them on. So our team, Kentucky All-Stars, is the Kentucky State University football team. Looking forward to watching them get a win this Saturday. All right, with that, we have 3 journalists that are here with us and 2 on the line. We'll start with Tom Latek.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon to you. Any news on the quest to identify the body that was found by 75?
Yeah. So as most of Kentucky has seen by now, a body was found yesterday near the area of the shooting on I-75. Listen, we have every reason to believe that this is Joseph Couch, but a final and determinative identification has not yet been possible. There is DNA testing going on right now. I think we may know as early as this afternoon, but we have every reason to believe that that is Joseph Couch, and hopefully we can fully confirm it. That will bring to a close a pretty scary time in that community and the surrounding communities. I want to thank everybody who's been involved. I want to thank everybody who worked so hard to create plans to keep the community safe while we thought there was a threat. And so, listen, Joseph Couch tried to commit. Joseph Couch tried to commit an unspeakable act of evil, and thankfully, he failed. The only person who died in this was Joseph Couch. I want to thank all of our first responders that rushed to the scene, our dispatchers. I got to talk to the dispatchers that took those calls. Their work saved a lot of lives, and I think it's important that we show that we are not going to live in fear. These individuals that commit these acts, I hope we forget their names as fast as we can. And so I'm glad to bring this to a close. Liam.
I just wanted to add on to that. I know that information about the whereabouts of this body is still being gathered, but why do you think, despite all the resources that were poured in by multiple law enforcement agencies, that they weren't ultimately able to find the body, even though it was in the vicinity of where the shooting happened, and that it appears that a private couple found the body? So
my understanding is that it was in a very challenging place. It at least appears that in the act of killing himself, provided this is Joseph Couch, he fell off a cliff and even into, I don't know if it's a gully or an embankment. I haven't seen it personally, but I think it's just a very challenging terrain. But in the end, listen, everybody did their best. Everybody was out there, both looking for him, trying to neutralize any threat. Then we were transitioning to make sure we could protect the community. In the end, I'm glad the couple found him, just so that this whole thing could be over and people can get back to their lives.
And just a quick follow-up. Do you have any info on the circumstances? I think you mentioned briefly that there were state troopers that were trailing this couple.
Yeah, I don't have I know the state troopers were also looking in that area. And I know the general area had been searched before, but it was very, very thick. But otherwise, I don't have any extra details on that. But again, I mean, I know online people will say what they want to say. I believe that this is Joseph Couch. We'll hopefully be able to confirm it later today. And what it means is that people of Laurel County and the surrounding area can rest a little easier. Bodie.
Thank you, Governor. The constitutionality over yesterday's executive order is being widely questioned by many of your critics. A few cases are being referred to, such as 1982's Brown v. Barkley, basically making the case that you didn't have the authority to write that executive order. Can you explain a bit more of why you believe you do have the right
The
to do so, and are you prepared to report that?
Yeah, the executive order is legal and constitutional. It's been done in other states. The United States Supreme Court refused to review Washington's ban on conversion therapy, leaving it in place. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is a practice that every major medical organization says is unethical and that it harms kids. It makes them twice as likely to commit suicide. I made a pledge in COVID that I was going to make the hard decisions to save lives, and I'm continuing to do that. And if this was some practice that involved a different subset of kids, I'd stand up against it just as much as I have today. People said some of the same things right after I did my medical marijuana executive order as well. We believe it's constitutional. We are ready to fight for it in court if we need to. But whoever wants to file that lawsuit is standing up for a practice that hurts Kentucky kids and results in more Kentucky kids dying. We should all be against that. Karen Czar on the line.
Good afternoon, Governor. Thank you. You mentioned earlier in this briefing that the ratings will benefit Kentucky taxpayers. Could you elaborate on how? Thank you.
Yeah, the ratings make it easier or less expensive to borrow. In each of our budgets, we have things that we fund directly. We have things that we borrow on through bonds to ultimately move those projects forward. This impacts that rating, makes it less expensive. We're either able to do more or ultimately not spend as much. And finally, Gil McClanahan.
Last but not least, how are you doing, Governor?
I'm good. And that's his question. Now go ahead.
Good. No. I do have a serious question. I wanted to follow up on what Bodie had asked you about the executive order yesterday. I think you said just a second ago that it's held up in the courts in other states, but according to a statement from the Senate, they say that the Supreme Court has told the governor time after time again he lacks the power to create policy in the Commonwealth. Yet again, the governor is defying the Supreme Court, and the House said something like, you once again overstepped your authority. I mean, do you believe you have the authority for this?
I have the authority, and I'm using it to protect Kentucky's children. If the legislature wants their legacy to be continuing a practice that we know causes more kids to commit suicide, that's not going to be a very good legacy. Listen, if you take all the rest of it out, right? If you take out the subset of kids that this is impacting, if you don't think about it in terms of gender or sexuality, and you just say there is this practice that some people out there are doing, and it has been medically disproven, debunked, and is condemned by every major group that is out there, and we have the statistics that show kids are twice as likely to commit suicide if they have to go through it, wouldn't we all be against it? And shouldn't we still be against it once you put in the specific details of this one? I'm standing up for our kids. I want to make sure that they know that people care about them and love them. And this is something, in the past, when we have found out that things don't work, that they cause more harm than they do good, then we take steps to stop those types of practices. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I still remember when I stood at this podium in one of our scariest times during COVID, and I said, listen, I'm going to do everything I can to save Kentucky lives. I'm doing everything I can to save lives of Kentucky's kids through this executive order. And if they don't think or don't like that I'm doing it through executive order, how about they come back in and they can pass a statute that goes further? Because the executive order can only prohibit state and federal funds from being used for it, and also addresses our licensing boards. The General Assembly has a chance to do even more, and I would encourage them to come in and fully prohibit it in every single possible way here in the Commonwealth. All right. Thank you all very much. Congratulations to our communities on housing, on these grants. Congratulations to all of Kentucky on the Moody's upgrade. We have a lot of really good news that's out there, and we've got a lot of reason to be optimistic. I say often we've got this window open where we are making significant progress. Our goal should be to sprint forward together, all of us, as fast as we can, to take up as much of this opportunity as humanly possible. That's certainly going to be my goal, and I'm looking forward to work with anyone and everyone to make it happen. Thanks, y'all. Thank you all.